Herbivore. Morning. Why's my camera blurry? Why have I got a hole in the middle of my chest? Even more worryingly. Is that camera going to be all right or what? Come on. Yep. The minute I click on it, it sorted itself out anyway. Right. Who's in the house? Natalie Renkler. Hi from Bangkok. How are you doing, Natalie? Whereabouts in Bangkok are you? Whereabouts in Bangkok? Bangkok is the city, isn't it? I've just woken up, if you can't tell. How's the vegan scene in Bangkok? I've never heard. Of course, there's a lot of great vegan places in Thailand, isn't there? Let's turn my music down a touch. Staines in the house. Good morning to you, sir. Michael Askew. How you all doing? What's going on? Yeah, just after 7 a.m. Yeah, I'm usually up between kind of 5 and 6. I like to do an early one on a Sunday. Oftentimes I catch some of my Australian viewers. I have quite a lot of a biggish following in Australia. So that's good. Michael Askew hasn't been to bed yet. Good old Robert Pacino's in the house. Good to see you as well. And Jackie, I've recently purchased black chickpeas. How do they differ? Well, in terms of the colour, they have anthocyanins, which is the dark pigment. It's like, it can be a red to sort of blue pigment, or sort of black looking, depending on if it's in an alkaline or an acidic base. It's your fact of the day. Probably, I would imagine, probably more antioxidant rich. But in terms of flavour and whatever, they're much the same. Yes. Coast Rider, how often do you go to the toilet / release gas in a day? That's what I get for titling it Ask Anything. I don't know, do you make a note of your, well, bowel movements? Yeah, I go to the loo like sort of 3 times, which is how many times I eat, which is what you should be doing. And in terms of farts, I don't really log them, sorry, but certainly when I first went whole foods plant-based was quite frequent, and now not so much. Which happens once you have the right gut bacteria to process all the healthy food. It's your fact of the day. Anyone saying, hey, if you eat beans, that'll make you fart, it's because their diet's crap. Plant-based powered. I'm watching Vegan Gain stream at the same time. Double multitasking. You're multitasking. Very good. Natalie, in the last year or two, Bangkok has exploded with more vegan options. Very good. There are plenty more vegan restaurants, crisis food delivery service, and all that good stuff. That is amazing to hear. Very, very good. And how long have you been vegan for, Natalie? And how is that treating you? Trolls already. Trolls. I'm sorry that if your life's so horrible, it's been so horrible to you that you have to put others down in order to make yourself feel good. You don't have to be an ass to get attention in here, but if you're going to be an ass, you can just go. So, yeah, see you later. You're gone. Josh H, you lovely person, kindly donated $5 US. Hi Hench, former keto. I've been whole foods plant-based for 6 months. But get heartburn almost every night. Never had it high fat, not sure what the trigger is. Heartburn, yeah, I only got that ever if, and thanks for the super chat, by the way, it's really kind. I only ever got that eating animal products, and also caffeine used to do it to me. But cutting that out, going whole foods plant-based, yeah, you don't really all get it. Are you eating too late at night and then like laying down? Is that a thing? You really only want to eat within to preferably 3 hours of bedtime. In that way, like your digestion, won't be taking up all your energy. Like you'll sleep better, and yeah, you shouldn't really lay down with a stomach full of food. So that's the only thing I can really imagine, unless you're suddenly adding in like caffeine and things. Plant-based powered, it is 7 a.m. here. Well, 7:22 now. Stephen Kirk, good morning, peeps. Odd question to join here. Yeah, sorry about that. There's some uncouth people about. We're really good. How are you, Stephen? Good to see you. Yep, 72. Thoughts about intermittent fasting. So I actually do eat in a time restricted window now. I do like a 12-hour eating window, or 11 to 12 hours. So in terms of fat loss, my understanding is that there's no metabolic benefit. Some people seem to be able to lose fat easier by eating that way, but that may be more in terms of diet adherence, than any metabolic benefit. But there are very definitely benefits to health, which is the reason I've instituted it. So just having a good gap where you're not eating, your body's energy then turns like inwards, and it looks at like self-repair. So is it called autophagy, where you sort of replenish cells, and you undo like DNA damage and things. Whereas if you're constantly piling in calories, and particularly like proteins and things, like your body's just in build mode, and it can start building the wrong things. There can be like errors in the code, and then like you start to build like cancer like cells. So yeah, I'm really glad to have implemented that. Rohit, how much iodine would you recommend if you don't eat sea vegetables? The RDA is 150 micrograms per day. That's the minimum. The upper tolerable safe daily limit is 1,100 micrograms. I typically aim to get around 300 micrograms, because I don't want to just scrape in at the sort of amount of a mineral where I don't guarantee myself to get like a deficiency disease. And I think I'm a bit larger as well than your average person, so perhaps my needs are more. So I go in at least about double. You don't want to go more than about 7x, because that's toxic. So I go in at 2.5 times typically. Happy Healthy Life is in the house. Hi to you. How you doing, my friend? Callie Horrocks, good to see you, lovely. Hi, do you have a particular date when you hit 10 years vegan? Yeah, I do, but sadly I don't know when that is. It will basically be sometime next summer. Miro's Carpenters, I drink a lot of coffee. Yeah, so that can give you heartburn. It's a mixed bag, coffee. It's a mixed bag. If you're a fast metabolizer of caffeine, then most likely the pros outweigh the cons. It's quite hard to say. There's benefits and negatives each way. Like, it's a neurotoxin, so it is actually poisonous to your nerve cells. So your body, the reason you feel revved up is that, so you're heating up, your blood's pumping faster. Your body is trying to excrete the poison, basically, is how it works. But there is an inverse correlation between caffeine consumption and suicide risk, up to 8 cups of coffee a day. But then, like, there's an oil in coffee that kills good gut bacteria, and the gut microbiome really is the key, to good health. So there's a lot of antioxidants. Well, I say there's a lot. There's a moderate amount of antioxidants in coffee. Because of your average American's poor diet, your average American, actually coffee is where most Americans get the majority or the biggest amount of their antioxidants from. But there's much healthier things to eat and drink that have more antioxidants. So yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag. For me, it became more of a detriment, and so I've knocked it completely on the head now. But yeah, if it's hurting your sleep, like that's never good. Stephen Kirk, what do you think of creatine monohydrate? It seems cheap, and the journal articles suggest it's safe and effective. Yeah, it seems to be good. There's no real data on it being unhealthful. It only works in 70% of people, roughly. 30% of people are considered to be non-responders, and you'll know that's you if you start to ingest it, and within a week or two, if your weight doesn't go up 3, 4, 5 pounds, depending on your sort of mass, you're a non-responder basically. You might find that for some people, and I think I'm one of them, it seems to me like the micronized creatine monohydrate seems to work better. I think. I feel like that works for me, and I feel like a standard monohydrate doesn't. Yeah, but not 100%. It's hard to tell sometimes because there's so many confounding variables. Lily T, how much iodine-rich food should I give to my kids aged 12 and 8 who are vegan? That's a blinking good question. I don't know off the top of my head, but I know a man who does know. Hang on. Actually, it's 2 ladies. I know 2 ladies who do know. I really recommend this book, Becoming Vegan, by Davis and Melina. Really great dietitians they are. And there's a chart in the back. There's a chart for all ages, all stages of life, and it's all your essential nutrients, vitamins, minerals, essential fatty acids. So iodine, vitamins, minerals. Right, what ages did you say? 12 and 8. So up to 8 years, the requirement is 90 micrograms a day. So that's, what is that, about 1.5 sheets and 150. I'd say like 1.5 sheets of nori, or like 3/4 of a teaspoon of dulse or arame flakes. And 12, it is 120. So that's nearer 2 sheets of nori, or about 3/4. I would say go about a teaspoon to be safe of dulse or arame flakes, and that would be that. Becoming Vegan, Davis and Melina, fantastic reference book. Okay, I should have that on standby at all times, really, shouldn't I? And not have it on the bookshelf. Natalie, I'm still transitioning from vegetarian to vegan for food. Good on you. I have cheese every once in a blue moon, but for everything else, like healthy products. Nice. Nice. Yeah, some people struggle with the old cheese thing, don't they? Because they find it so sort of delicious. I don't know how available like different types of products are in Thailand, but for me, there's 3 brands of vegan cheese. Mouse's favourite, Tyne cheese, and Nutcrafter Creamery. And they make their cheeses with cashew nuts, and they got like the normal cultures. So you get that like tangy. I find them delicious. I find them just as nice. So yeah, you might try to source those if you can. I don't know how easy you'll get them. You're welcome, guys. Natalie, I have a question regarding pain and inflammation. What can you recommend to help chronic back and hip pain? It's in the muscle and I want to be able to heal it. So animal products such as dairy are pro-inflammatory and do create pain in the body, whereas whole plant foods, legumes, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, herbs and spices, by and large, massively in favour of they're anti-inflammatory. So yeah, eat as far as you can whole plant foods and avoid animal products. Avoid processed sugar. Avoid oils. They tend to be skewed in favour of the pro-inflammatory omega-6. So the overt fats that you do eat, you want to have a good amount of ground flax, ground chia, because they have the anti-inflammatory omega-3. They're in about a 3 or 4 to 1 ratio in favour of the anti-inflammatory omega-3. Then you've also got hemp seeds, walnuts. They're kind of skewed the other way, but they have a good amount of omega-3s as well. The other nuts and seeds, they tend to not have so much omega-3, or if any at all, but a bit of omega-6. By the end of the day, you want to balance your omega-3 and 6. You want it in at least like a 3 or 4 to 1 ratio in favour of 6. You don't want it to be massively in favour of omega-6, basically, which a lot of people are if they eat, chickens, eggs, if they have like oils, if they have loads of like say peanut butter and no chia and flax seeds. That creates inflammation as well, so that doesn't help. So that's dietary wise. And then in terms of a supplement, CBD oil is massively anti-inflammatory. I take this 3 times a day, and I swear by it. It's great for pain mitigation. It's also an anxiolytic. Oh God, Shield Maiden Samantha has become a member. I don't know if you're in here or not, Shield Maiden Samantha. I think you are. Welcome to the Herbivore Army. Thank you for your kind support. So yeah, guys, if you don't know about this, if you become a channel member, you get a little badge next to your name. And you get to use emojis and like special channel emojis. There's a Discord server that you can be in touch with us all the time. Hi, Shield Maiden Samantha, you are in it. Thank you so much for your kind support. That means the world to us. Thank you. And we do a monthly members and Patreon only live stream as well, which will be this Wednesday coming. What day is it today? Sunday, isn't it? Yeah, it'll be on Wednesday. So yeah, hope to see you there. Thank you so much. Right, where was I? Yeah, so that's the main things really. Back and hip pain. Yeah, I suffer with those from time to time, but yeah, by eating well, obviously like stretching, not overdoing things. Therapy gun is really good, or like self-myofascial release, like foam rolling, therapy balls, Theracane, that sort of thing. But mostly for me, it's been nutrition and this old CBD. You can get 30% off your first order of this Honest Hemp CBD with my link, which is in discount code, which is in the description box below. Very good stuff. Abdul, greetings, brother. Greetings to you. Can you talk about SIBO and the Gage-Man protocol? What was the plan, and was there any hurdles? So I think the main thing with this is that you need to get diagnosed. Don't self-diagnose and think, oh, I've got these symptoms, so therefore I must have that. And there's 2 types of SIBO as well, methane dominant and hydrogen dominant. I think that's the ones. You'd be better off asking Simon, really. He's the master. I was but the patient. But yeah, I did a breath test, found out I had it. He prescribed me like a personalised treatment plan. We used 3 different antimicrobials. I'm sort of hesitant to say exactly about the treatment because, that might not be right for you, But yeah, I will just mention the compound. It was a berberine, which is a berry extract, allicin, which is from the allium vegetables like garlic, onions, shallots, leeks, that sort of thing, and a grapefruit seed extract. And we started off on a very low dose. We slowly ramped up the dose over time, and we always had 2 different ones running concurrently, and then we drop one out, bring the other one in, hold those 2 for a while, then drop the other one out, bring the first one back in again. There was a bit of a hurdle halfway through the protocol. the company that have the antimicrobials like ran out and I couldn't get hold of any, so I had to like stop the treatment and then start again. So it got really protracted. I think normally it would only take you probably about 6 weeks or so. So that was the only pain. So what I would say is, you know, do get tested, make sure you got it. Because if you add in these antimicrobials and you don't need them, you can do more harm than good, because they do, although they're not harsh antibiotics, they do kill gut bacteria. So yeah, that's what I'd really say. Get tested, find out the exact one, but I would say work with a practitioner to make sure you got the right treatment for you. Like, don't just because I did a certain thing, and I can't remember the doses either. Anyway, other than that we sort of slowly ramped up. But yeah, get professional help with that, I say. Natalie, fun fact about caffeine: it's a natural insect repellent for plants that contain it. Don't surprise me. It's quite bitter, isn't it? Stains in the house. He has 2 coffees a day. If you can have 2 and it don't hurt your sleep or anything, like, that's absolutely fine. Plant-based powered, is it okay to take a DHA supplement occasionally, like 3 times a week? I hope so, because that's exactly how I take mine. So the Vivo Life one, so I'm a Vivo Life brand ambassador, so I get given it, and they're the best quality products I've found, which is why I'm an ambassador. But that kind of, that one is like super strength. And so, yeah, I take it 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Yeah, no problem with that. The optimal dose seems to be around 250 milligrams per day. So that's what that kind of equates to. Jackie, do you prefer tofu, tempeh, or seitan? In terms of like the most protein, seitan would be the best. And I do like seitan with like barbecue sauce, which isn't the healthiest. In terms of health, I would go for tempeh because it's whole soybeans. And that's fermented with mycelium, which is the root of mushrooms. So that's actually, although it is processed, it's actually 2 whole foods stuck together and fermented. So that's super healthy. So that would be the healthiest way. But in terms of actual enjoyment, I think I like baked marinated tofu, like, you know, little chunks of tofu, and they're sort of a little crispy on the outside but springy on the inside, and they suck up all the flavour. So yeah, I like all 3, but for different reasons, and I kind of cycle between them. ZE, how many greens do you eat on a daily basis? Loads. I would say I have at least 3 servings of greens, probably nearer 6 a day. The mainstays are kale most days, broccoli very often, salad greens. The other day I had watercress and rocket. They're 2 of the best greens you can have. But yeah, normally on my plate there's at least one maybe 2 servings of a green. Yeah, I think 2 or 3 servings, and try to make one of them a cruciferous vegetable like kale, cauliflower, cabbage, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, because they have that great sulforaphane which boosts our liver detox enzymes. It's really anti-cancer, very, very powerful. Real Thang is in the house. Good to see you. Lully, is black tea as bad for your gut microbiome as coffee? I drink a lot of tea. It's all I drink. Good question. No, this oil is specifically in coffee. I've not heard of anything in tea being bad. So I'm going to say probably not. I will say, so black tea is a more nutritious drink than coffee. However, green tea would be more nutritious than the black tea. Or white tea, which is young green leaves. It's all the same plant, isn't it? It's Camellia, is it called? Sinensis? Camellia sinensis, is that right? It's all the same plant, but it's in various stages of the life cycle and how dried out it is. But then matcha tea is better still, because they take the green leaves and then they powder them, and you're actually drinking that, rather than you got the tea leaves in the tea bag and you brew the tea and then you throw the tea leaves in the bin and drink the water. I had Dr. Greger describe that as it's like steaming your kale and then throwing the kale out and drinking the water. Like you just wouldn't. So that makes a lot of sense. Be careful though. I started adding tea leaves into my smoothies, and it turns out that green tea from China is so contaminated with lead that it doesn't matter if you're drinking the tea, but to swallow the leaves, which kind of hang on to the lead, it can be really bad for your body. You can get a real toxic load of lead. So watch out for that. You're welcome, Lely, and yeah, that's a great idea. It's not overly expensive. I mean, it's not cheap, but it's not. It doesn't even say it. I think it's about £10 or maybe £15. But it's the Bible of vegan healthy nutrition. Like, why not? I say, why not? Complete reference to plant-based nutrition. I think it's essential. I really think it's essential. You know, it's life or death we're talking about. So, yeah, good for you. Bryce Brown, opinion on Oreos. Yummy, worth it, gross. I've never eaten an Oreo, so I can't tell you. I would not say worth it, because they're going to be full of sugar and probably some sort of saturated fat or hydrogenated oil or something. So they're going to really raise your risk for dementia, heart disease, diabetes, all the top killer diseases like obesity. I never think that that's worth it. Like a fleeting taste sensation over like how long and happy and healthy you're going to live. That's a no-brainer for me. Most people, though, don't realise how powerful nutrition is, so they don't worry about it. They think, oh, it won't happen to me. I'm the centre of the universe. What they don't realise is everyone is feeling the same way, because they're the only one experiencing their consciousness. So everyone kind of feels like the universe revolves around them and they're the centre and nothing can happen. And they don't realise that we're all the same and we're all inconsequential in the grand scheme of things. And most people don't worry about their health until it's too late, or until they get a teachable moment sometimes where they have their first heart attack and they survive it. You know, then they think very differently. Thanks, Bryce Brown. I'm a huge fan of you for saying that. Plant-based powder. How about kelp? Like 1/8 of a teaspoon a day. Yeah, so kelp powder, 1/16 of a teaspoon is your minimum RDA. So, yeah, that would be good. Michael Askew, thyme cheese's Ethiopian spice is delicious. Isn't it just? Have you tried the za'atar spice as well? I think that's... Do you know, I love the Ethiopian the most, but I don't think I'd tried the za'atar yet. And I've got a feeling that I like that even slightly a little bit more. They're super delicious though, aren't they? I like all of the thyme cheeses. They do so many flavours, don't they? They sent me a selection box once, like little mini ones. We had the best time. Me and Gemma had a couple of omnivorous friends over for dinner. We cooked them obviously vegan, and we had like cheese and crackers. And yeah, we had these thyme cheeses, and they trialed veganism straight after that. They went vegan for like a couple of weeks, or they ate vegan for a couple of weeks, and then they didn't stay completely vegan, but they're eating, just a fraction, I think, now of the animal products, from what I understand. So I see that as a success. Backplace, loved your skit about the chocolate. That's hilarious. I was so surprised they went and made some coconut-based dark chocolate. Oh, that's jumped. Zachary Willems, welcome to you. What are your thoughts on sea moss? I heard it's a really good source of minerals and B12. It won't be a source of B12. That will be nonsense. If anything, well, it may have some B12. It may equally have more B12 analogues, which actually work to actively stop you absorbing B12. So don't rely on any kind of seaweeds for B12. They're all the same. They all have varying amounts, and they can have more of the analog. So basically these analogues look nearly identical to B12, but they'll have like a 3 molecules difference. And the upshot is that they fit with the receptor, so they take up the space, but they don't do the good stuff, but they block true B12 from docking there. So it could be that you have adequate B12 in your bloodstream, but you also have loads of these analogues, and they're competing with binding sites, and the net result is that you're B12 deficient, despite having eaten it. So don't ever rely on like a seaweed for your B12. Yeah, sea moss. Yeah, it's touted as being really great, isn't it? But I feel that it's probably one of those things, again, where marketers get their hands on it and try and like really big it up. It's a seaweed. It's a vegetable that comes out of the sea. There's loads of vegetables that come out of the sea, and they're probably all equally good. They've probably all got their own individual benefits. And probably the best thing to do is eat a range. And that's what I tried to do. This last week or so, I ate sea moss, I ate bladderwrack, I ate dulse. I think we'd run out of nori. Yeah, I tried to cycle them. You're welcome, Natalie. I have both flax and chia seeds, as well as lots of greens in my fridge. And you know to grind your flax seeds, do you, Natalie, as well? Unless I guess you're cooking with them. If they soak up liquid and stuff, the chia seeds, they'll be okay. But raw flax and chia, if we eat those whole, we don't actually get any of the omega-3, one study found. So they do need to be ground up if you're having them raw, just to warn you. In case you didn't know, I think most people know that by now. Bat Plays is in the house. Connor Hughes, Hench, are you sure you're only 9? Yes, I am. I'm just well developed for my age. Thanks for the love, Drestaman. You can come again. I like you. Shield Maiden Samantha, where do you find the Discord? That's a really good question. What I'll do is I'll pop it in the, on YouTube, there's the community feed. I think if you go on my main page and you click the community tab, I've just made a note on my hand, and I'll do a post straight after this with the with it in, so you can see that. Nice plant-based, Howard. You'll love that book. Dragon Fist, if we could hypothetically live as breatharians and not starve to death, would we have an ethical obligation to be breatharians because it would cause less suffering than veganism? Don't worry about it, I say. Maybe. I can't be bothered to think about it. One is in the house from Colombia. Thanks for joining. How's the vegan scene where you are? Be interested to hear. Zell's in the house. Good to see you. You're welcome, Abdul. Spectre Bond. How do you recommend to relieve constipation? Thanks. If your diet's good, you shouldn't have it. I mean, if you're eating a poor diet and then you suddenly jump to a healthy diet, it can get you like that, particularly if you eat too much resistant stuff, like insoluble fiber and not enough soluble fiber. But if you're eating tons of fruit and veg, if you're eating some whole grains, legumes, nuts and seeds, if you're well hydrated, if you exercise, yeah, it shouldn't be happening. So normally the constipation is a sign that your lifestyle is not great. Like I say though, it can happen to you if you don't have the best lifestyle and then you suddenly switch over to a completely healthy diet, like a whole foods plant-based diet. But so I would say in that instance, transition more slowly. Just take a few weeks to take out some of the older foods, put in a bit more of the high fibre foods, but go more heavily towards kind of fruits and vegetables with the soluble fibre. If you this is already a function if your nutrition is poor, like if your magnesium intake is low, like that can cause an issue. So just for a short time, I would take a magnesium supplement, like particularly before bed. And that draws water into the colon, so that should relieve you. Yeah, I think that's all the best advice. Hope that helps. Erica, what is your favourite vegan ice cream? I try to avoid animal products. A bit difficult. Any advice? Ice cream mostly is refined sugar and oftentimes coconut oil, which is as bad as, well, it's actually worse than beef fat for your heart health. So I just don't eat it. So my favourite vegan ice cream is one I make myself. It's just frozen bananas, and you kind of you churn them up, and that makes ice cream consistency, and it's delicious. You get really ripe bananas. You can add like berries or matcha. You can put like date syrup on top, a bit of chopped nuts or something. It's delicious. There's no need to eat like sugar and saturated fat. Yeah, it tastes nice, but it's taken years off your life. It seriously raises your risk to get Alzheimer's disease, and you don't want that. And you don't want to have to care for people that have that either. It's horrible. It's like you've lost them before you've lost them. Yeah. So I would say avoid that like the plague. Sugar apparently is the worst culprit for getting Alzheimer's disease. I've been reading the Scherzai's 30-day Alzheimer's solution, and they've been looking at all the latest research. Try to avoid animal products in your personal care and household. Bit difficult. You need to look for the Leaping Bunny logo. So that ensures that it's not tested on animals. Of course, the Vegan Society logo, so that you know that they're vegan. That's the two things you want to look for basically. And there's loads of products now. If they're not in your local shops, like you'd be able to get them online, like easy. Real thing, I'll get a recurring delivery from Viva Life. Fantastic company, aren't they? Link in Hench's description. 10% off, code Hench10, give it your money. Thanks, The Real Thing. Erica, I try to eat as much raw as possible, like green juice. Nice, that'll help. And fresh berry smoothies to get as much nutrients. That's huge, yeah, they're both really good tactics. Well done, you. Lully, I have a medicine I must take, not vegan. There's no alternative. Can I call myself vegan? Yes, you can. I've been told no, so I say I'm whole food plant-based. Another person. So veganism is about avoiding cruelty to and exploitation of animals where practicable and possible. If you're going to die, if you don't have that product, which has probably got like a tiny little bit of lactose in or something, and like it's a waste product anyway from like the whey industry, you're being vegan. You'd be vegan if you were living on the, say you were living on the savannah somewhere, you didn't have a choice, you were stuck living on the savannah, there's no plants for you to eat, but you can eat ruminants. You'd be vegan, because it's not practicable or possible for you not to live without eating these ruminants, because there's nothing else to eat. That would be vegan. A lot of people would say otherwise, but they simply haven't read and digested the definition properly. Yeah, it's doing your best, and sometimes, you know, this world is not perfect, and sometimes you will hurt some animals, you know. All you can do is try to minimise. So, for instance, I will walk round lawns. I will stick to the path and walk round lawns rather than walking across them, because I think there's going to be exponentially more ants and other insects I can stand on. Now, I might stand on some insects on the path as well. I can't levitate. So, yeah, some ants might get squashed. But that's no reason to nuke the whole world, which is some people's excuse, isn't it? Oh, you can't be perfect, so why bother? Well, I can't be perfect, so why don't I hit the nuclear warhead launch button? Like, it don't make sense. Yeah, no, you're vegan, don't you worry. Dragon Fist, is there any benefits to drinking vanilla cola? Yeah, it makes cola companies rich, but it will shorten your life. Is marijuana healthy to have in smoothie? I wouldn't know. Don't know where you'd find that out. Plant-based power. Does omega-3 help with depression? Yes, if you're omega-3 deficient, it will. If you already have adequate omega-3 and that is not the cause of your depression, then it won't. Boom. See how that works? Yeah, I hope you're not suffering there, my friend. And yeah, anyone who is suffering with depression, again, it's the same diet, whole foods, plant-based. You know, balance your omega-3 and 6 so it's not pro-inflammatory. That's huge. That's huge. Vitamin D, if you've not got adequate vitamin D, you will be depressed. You can consider, again, CBD oil. That's really good. Cold showers, breath work, meditation, community. Undoing past trauma. If you think that you don't want to be around people, number one, you're probably wrong. And what it likely is that past trauma has taught you that people are dangerous. But I can't imagine how you can be happy without community and love and connection. It's a human need. So I would say work with a professional, like a counsellor, to work through the past trauma to make it so that you're happy to let people in. A sense of purpose. Sense of purpose is huge. 5, 6 a.m. I wake up. I think it's a new day. I can get online. I can create, and I can help turn the world vegan. I can stop people from getting heart disease. I can save thousands of animals. I can help, save the fate of the planet for future generations. And, I remember all the harm I did in the past when I didn't know better. And I'm so enthused. I'm so driven. And I just can't wait to get up and get cracking. And, before, I've had jobs, particularly as a lad, which I really hated. I was working for someone I didn't like, doing some dreary, repetitive old rubbish. And no wonder we are depressed and have low energy and we're lazy. I always thought I was lazy. I wasn't lazy. I just wasn't bloody interested in the stuff they were teaching me at school. The first few rubbish jobs I had, they just weren't interesting to me. And then I found my purpose, and now I can work all day long and not stop and be so happy. So that's some things about depression. I hope that helps. Cold therapy is really good, believe it or not. Cold showers or get in a river or like an icy lake. You'd be amazed. If you've not seen him already, look up Wim Hof, because he's been a lifesaver. He saved his own life after his wife committed suicide and left him with all the kids, and she was the love of his life. He saved his own life, and then he went and his teachings to do with breath work and cold therapy and meditation, and he's probably saved like hundreds of thousands of lives at this point, I would say. Really good stuff. Right, why has this jumped? Becoming vegan is 20 quid. Wow, I didn't think it would be that expensive. But yeah, it is. It's your health, it's your life, it's your children's like longevity and happiness. Yeah, I think on the scale of things, that's probably the best investment I ever made. Miros, you are an amazing person. Well, you're amazing for saying that, so thank you. And you can come here again. We like you. Our Omni is once a month, 1 to 5 to 2 gram stream trip. Okay, depends on the individual. You can't really make a blanket statement. Some people should not do hallucinogenics at all. Like below age 25, like it can hurt your brain development. If you have red-green colour blindness, it'll mess up your vision for days. You won't be able to basically live. You just have these traces all stuck in your field of vision. You won't be able to see. If you're schizophrenic, there's a few reasons why people shouldn't do it. If you're not one of those sorts of people, you know, a lot of people see these as drugs. I see them as plant medicines and as a tool to self-development and spiritualism. But you need to approach them with caution, and you need guidance, particularly in the first few instances. You could do with like a sitter or like a shaman. But yeah, in terms of actually the toxicity of them, if you look on a list of toxicology for pharmacological substances, you'll see that the hard drugs, pharmaceuticals, they're at the top of the list for the most toxic things. The least toxic, things like LSD and then mushrooms, they're right at the bottom of the list. So on the scale of things, they're less likely to harm you from a toxicology perspective than most things you buy in a chemist. So yeah, what I'm really saying is do your research, I think. Good words, back plays. I'll go along with that. Plant Blood's mum made them a vegan chocolate cake. Nice. Roy J, Hench, I miss you. I miss you too. Who are you? Erica Tank. I hear a lot about nutritional yeast and I'm planning to add it to my pantry, but I've never understood exactly what it is. It's single-celled mushrooms. It's a single-celled mushroom. It's yeast. And it's nutty and cheesy and delicious. It's full of B vitamins. It's 50% protein by weight. And if it's had B12 added to it, it will actually have B12. It doesn't naturally have B12, which is a mistake a lot of people make. Yeah, it's great stuff. There's some data on nutritional yeast consumption and endurance athletes. And the ones in the trial who had the nutritional yeast, endurance athletes after competition are prone to more viruses. And there was half the amounts of upper respiratory tract infections in the athletes that were using nutritional yeast. It's got those beta glucans, those really good types of fiber that are, what are they? They're immune boosting, basically. Dragon Fist. Do you think when the first antibiotic-resistant superdrug comes around, it will wipe out the human race? All depends, don't it? All depends. Could be really bad. Could be moderately bad. There are antibiotic-resistant superbugs now, aren't there? What is the deal with MRSA? Isn't that what that is? MRSA. So I think we're living with them now. But yeah, sooner or later, one will come around that will wipe everyone out. The minute you get a scratch or something. Yeah, so we really need to stop eating animals yesterday. And then, of course, there's the old zoonotic diseases like COVID-19. No, it's like no one's learned, isn't it? Everyone's still eating the same old dead animals. Crazy. Right, I'm annoyed that every day I have to see people eating meat and there's no vegan communities at all here. There are a few vegan communities. You're in one now. Oh, do you mean where you live? I guess you mean where you live, don't you? It sucks. People here don't understand what vegan is. I want to. Yeah, it is hard. It's hard. It's heartbreaking. I feel your pain. Plant-based power. Do sea vegetables have microplastics and other toxins like fish have? I don't know about microplastics. I wouldn't have thought so. Other toxins, yeah. Basically, it will have real sub-perceptual levels of any toxins. But it will have virtually none, but it does start to accumulate in the plants. But not to a very large degree, just a tiny, tiny bit. And the healthy nutrients in the plants will far outweigh these tiny level of trace toxins. But where it goes wrong is biomagnification. So, you know, tiny little fish will eat these plants their whole lives, so they'll have a decent amount of toxins. And where does the toxin store? In animals' fat. What is the fish fat called? Fish oil. So people having fish oil capsules. So there's tiny little fish. They're eating these plants their whole life. They've got a moderate amount of these toxins, but they're little. And, you know, if you just ate one of those, probably it wouldn't do too much in terms of toxicity. Wouldn't be so good for the fish, obviously. But then you got those tiny little fish eating them their whole lives. Then you got bigger fish eating those tiny fish for their whole lives. So they're eating thousands of these tiny fish. And then you got bigger fish still eating thousands of these slightly smaller fish that are eating thousands of these. Do you see, by the time you get up to like a tuna or something, just the biomagnification, you're just getting exponentially more toxins from the fish that fish ate, that was eating those plants for its whole entire life. So if you want, there'll always be some degree of toxins in your foods, whether it's from acid rain, whether it's from what's going into the ocean, from us. But to be healthy, you need to eat down the food chain, which means if you want to eat right down the food chain, it's plants. Anything other than plants, you're eating up the food chain and you're multiplying every level up is exponentially more. It's like to the power of 10, like worse. It's not just like a bit worse or doubly bad. It's like 10x bad, you know? So that's how that works. I know, that was a great question. DJ Cat's in the house. Good to see you. Did I salute you, Shield Maiden Samantha? I can't remember if I saluted you when I welcomed you to the Herbivore Army. I should have done. I'll be getting court-martialed. Plant-based powered turned 45 yesterday. Congrats. What am I now? 47. How did that happen? Royer, is oil as bad as meat? Yes and no. Plant oil, like seed oils, probably not, but they're still horrible. It's a bit like saying, do you want to be stabbed or shot? Preferably neither. Coconut oil though, coconut oil, palm oil and palm kernel oil, they have those long and very long chain triglycerides. So I know like coconut oil, for instance, is worse than beef fat in terms of raising serum LDL and then like heart disease risk. But, you know, other oils, like even seed oils, you know, they're usually much higher in omega-6. Any omega-3 is killed by heating. When you heat them, you create oxygen-free radicals. When you heat starches, you create acrylamides, which are a possible carcinogen, although it's looking less and less. The evidence apparently is getting a bit weaker. So they might not be so bad as we previously thought, apparently. But in terms of heat and protein and fat, and obviously when you add oil, you're making it hotter still. You're creating advanced glycation end products, which accelerate aging throughout all the tissues of the body. So yeah, oils aren't great. It's sort of mixed opinions, really. The Sherzais, Aisha and Dean, in their latest book, they're saying like a couple of tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. They're saying there's no real data to say that it's harmful. And it's just on the good side of the Alzheimer's risk potential. But my argument is, until I've seen a couple of studies which show whole foods plant-based diet and then whole foods plant-based diet plus extra virgin olive oil, unless they're pitted head to head, you know, I can't see how there's any extra benefit to oil, but there is potential risk. Even, you know, even the best oil tends to form some trans fats while it's being stored, while it's hanging in the supermarket, you know. So it's high in omega-6. It's too high in calories for most people. Most people eating oil will have the propensity to get fat because it's, you know, it's so calorically dense. Yeah, until I see like a head-to-head study, I'm going to swerve it. I mean, I do have 9 drips of this is in hemp oil, but it's 0.025 mils per, you know, it's negligible. Same with the Vivo Life omega-3 and D3 supplements. They're in sunflower oil, I think, or I think one's in sunflower oil, one might be in a medium chain triglyceride oil. And again, they're definitely harmful in like reasonable doses, like smallish doses. But again, it's such a minuscule amount that I think the benefit far outweighs any risk there. But yeah, I think meat is probably worse than most oil, save for coconut oil. But yeah, do you want to be shot or stabbed? I'd rather neither. Yeah, that's how I'd say that. Tom Z, can you be vegan in the military in the UK? I don't really know. I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think so now. But every now and again, when you're on manoeuvres, you might have to miss out a meal or something if you're unlucky. I think it depends how good your sort of CO is or things. Right, what should I tell people who tell me that meat is great and I am missing it? Well, have you not eaten it? I mean, most people have eaten it, so you would know what it tastes like. But if you've never had it, it's time to F off. What should I tell people who tell me that meat is great? You know, my normal thing is sex feels great, but I wouldn't rape someone because there's a victim, and that's really wrong. And so however good it might taste, like it's never ethical to do that. So why would you? Like this, that's very silly. How dare they? Shield Maiden Samantha, what's the best foods to eat? Oh, to lower your blood sugar? Just whole plant foods, lower fat, whole plant foods. Yeah, you want to avoid too much fat. You want to avoid particularly saturates like animal fats, coconut oils, oils in general. Yeah, just whole plant foods. Lots of low-calorie fruit and veg, some legumes, some whole grains. Oh, legumes are particularly good. You get that second meal effect. Yeah. Hi, Joanne. Nice to see you. Plant-based powered. I'm depressed because my life has passed me by and I haven't done much with my life. Maybe it's because depression is the question I should be asking. I would imagine if you're, yeah, that's not going to be great for your mental health. I've been addicted to drugs not all my life. I finally quit from the except for the yeah. You need to get off of those and then let your sort of brain chemistry like rebalance. Yeah, while you're doing anything like that, and like that, they're not going to be helping you to improve, you know, have a more fulfilling life. And so I imagine like you might have some guilt around like taking, and so many of us go through that and have been through that, and a lot of people don't come out the other side. So the fact that you got down to one substance there is really cool. Plant-based powered, and I'm really impressed and pleased for you and proud of you. And I would encourage you to it's trying to find like your sense of purpose. I know like I don't know if you've looked into it, if you've done it. It's not for everyone, but I understand that 12-step is really good because it can help to give you a sense of purpose. That's if I was in that position, I think I would be looking at 12-step personally. But yeah, get yourself some help, because you deserve to feel well and be happy and have a fulfilling life. And you can have it, but you have to. I think it's finding your purpose. And I didn't find my purpose until my early 40s. Yeah, early 40s before I found my purpose. And I messed with all sorts of substances and got a bit stuck and got quite depressed. And yeah, there's not many of us who have not had some degree of struggle, and we're just set up to fail. It's so tempting. It's so tempting. If we have a pain and we can take something and that pain suddenly goes away. We have 3 drives: seek pleasure, avoid pain, expend the least energy doing so. And for most people, once we become addicted to a substance, we have to really hit rock bottom, and the pain of remaining the same has to become greater than the pain of changing before we do it. And so I hope you can do it before that point. I really do. And I love you, my friend, and thanks for being so open and authentic and honest. And this is what the world needs. So many of us are struggling and we don't say anything, and then things can go really bad. So I hope something there helped, and good luck, my friend. Good luck, brother. Oh, wow. Wow, I have been on for an hour. I guess my purpose is now to help animals. Yeah, well, it's what mine is, and it's the reason I got out of bed in the day. So good for you. If you can try and quit the substances and really put your energy into looking and feeling your best in terms of eating healthfully, working out, becoming the best version of yourself, and people can see you transform, and you can say, veganism did this for me. You can save thousands and thousands and thousands of animals, and it's the best feeling. Good on you, plant-based powered. Well, I've done my hour stint. I've got to go and do loads of other things today, so I better call it there. Thanks, moderators, for keeping us troll-free. Thanks for the super chats, keeping the beans on my toast, the walls from the door, and the cameras rolling. Do follow me on the gram if you're not already, hench_herbivore. And what else to say? If you're new, we'd love you to become part of the Hench Herbivore community. So hit the subscribe button, click the bell icon to be notified of new videos. And we'll be back Monday evening, 6 p.m. GMT, me and Gemma. Oh, sorry, Lolly. Bless you. It's not anything you said, I swear. Okay, guys. Yeah, hope to see you tomorrow night. Have an awesome rest of your week.